NewGenGamers.com.
Welcome everybody to another NewGenGamers.com's Console Wars of the Past videos. This is the Panasonic Real 3DO. That's right, this was the beast designed by Trip Hopkins to take over your living room.
We'd had audio, we'd had video, now it was time for 3DO.
Wow, that was a cheesy tagline.
And we'll get to why this system didn't quite work out.
Yeah, we've got plenty to talk about, but we'll show you what's going on here with the actual console.
This is the Panasonic FZ10 model, probably the best US version that was released.
It's a nice slim down model.
Top loading, so you didn't have problems with the disk drive not opening or disks not being read.
Now on the side here we have a ready and an access light, so you know when it's thinking. There's ready, there's access. Here on the side we have our power switch. I just had something on every side of this thing. There's your power
Expansion.
There's another expansion port.
For failed devices that never saw the light of day.
Alright, there's your RCA plus S-Video. This thing supported S-Video.
This is how you connected to your TV using the highest definition standards of the time, and the traditional RF out if you still were stuck in the caveman days.
And the channel select.
Being sarcastic here because we'll talk about how this thing was too far ahead of its time. Channel select's a little dusty there. Alright, so if you're using the RF, there's that.
Now,
another expansion port.
On every side.
What are we going to plug in here? Something that was never released.
A laser disc.
Perhaps. Who knows? So there were grand plans for this, and the 3DO was architecture. So we're looking at the Panasonic model. There was a Sanyo model. There was a Creative Labs PC model.
There's a Gold Star model.
There's a Gold Star model. And not all of them were released in the United States. Some were released only in Japan.
Some were better than others. It's just they're different manufacturers.
And originally, they were intended to have different features with different versions that allowed you to do different things. But we'll get into all that.
Now this is a controller port. See, it kind of looks like a Sega Genesis one, but it's not compatible at all. Now,
you see, there's only one.
Yes. That seems to be missing something. Is there multiplayer games on the 3DO?
Oh, there is.
Oh!
Many players can play.
You just hook them all together by using the extra controller.
You plug into this slot and you can daisy chain as many players as you want. I think up to like 8. And you can also plug other peripherals like keyboards, mice, for some of the text and adventure games like ones we'll look at. And so it has a long-ass cord. 11 feet of cord.
A really long cord there.
There's a lot of cord. So let's look at this controller.
We've got, kind of looks like your Sega Genesis design with the 3 buttons on the one side. You have a directional pad.
With diagonals, which don't work real good on the pad.
Design flaw. And you've got the start, or the play button.
Play, pause, the P button.
The P button. And the
X button.
X button.
And also,
or the stop.
Yeah, it would. Many of the cutscenes, you could actually pause, stop, and play right in the middle of the cutscenes.
That was kind of nice. Now there's also 2 triggers, one left, one right on top of the controller. So not a bad design. And a headphone jack.
With volume control.
Wow.
Oh.
That's a pretty decked out controller there.
Now, the design's pretty good. You see each side's just a circle, and the buttons are kind of centered in on the circle, so your fingers lay on it pretty good. Not a bad design.
No, it's got a pretty good design to it. Now let's take a look here real quick at some of the games. Here we'll be playing Myst. This is kind of your standard 3DO case. It's the old long box design, only they went with the paper sleeves. So you had your book at the top and your disc at the bottom, and whatever game they felt like advertising in with it.
And if it was a 2-disc game, you could have the other disc up top here.
Yeah, there's room for multiple discs. And then you had other packaging, which was the jewel case design.
Now this, I believe, actually came in a bigger case originally.
Oh, okay.
Because here's the manual for it.
Maybe it was just a paper box case, because we didn't get the case, we got the jewel case for it. So.
I believe some of them came in big boxes like PC games did back then.
Now here's Death Keep. This is the rule book, so you got your own rule book with the game.
It's a D&D game, so you gotta have the D&D system.
Rule book.
Yeah.
Syndicate. Space Hulk with Draxon's Revenge sitting on top of it there.
And here you can see some of the CD artwork. This is started to see the era where you got cool discs. You know, some of them would have different designs, different colors.
Yeah, it was definitely a lighter look at them. There's Dragon Lore. That's a multi-disc game. Here we have Shockwave. Yeah, very interesting art on these.
Promoting Road Rash, which we'll also be taking a look at.
There was a lot of promotions in them.
A lot of cross-promotions from Electronic Arts, and we'll get into why that is as
and
we go
here
into
we've
this.
got a Mercenary.
Made by 5 Miles Out. There you see the crew.
And they made a picture of themselves for the inside sleeve. So
get to know the guys.
And then one more here. We've got Guardian War.
And I believe this one also came in a bigger box.
They just had the, it was more of the PC box type style.
Yeah.
Well,
so
what do you say we plug this thing in and see what it's all about?
Let's check out this underrated and little known system.
Welcome everyone to another Console Wars of the Past here at NewGenGamers.com and on YouTube and the various interwebs.
This is Duck.
I'm Ray.
I'm Ron.
Alright. Now that we've introduced ourselves, we'll introduce you to the 3DO.
We're going to be the three amigos of video games today and try to get across the treacherous land that is 3DO.
Brought to us by Electronic Arts, as about 80% of the games on the system were.
And we see here a vicious creature.
That thing is ugly.
Now this is based on Warhammer.
Warhammer 40K, which is a tabletop role-playing. You have to get that right.
I'm not familiar with the differences. I apologize to anyone that cares.
Now we're seeing some video here.
Yes, this was something that this system flaunted.
The system was very good at doing video
and audio because it was using CDs.
CD quality audio.
Yes, and full motion video. Although, as we'll see, it wasn't real good at doing 3D in game. It was nice at showing things off. And listen to that voice.
There you go, the British accent.
He will get you.
The new 32-bit 3DO game console uses CD-ROMs and costs about $700. But the folks at 3DO say the difference in game playing is worth the price.
The first thing I think that probably hits you will be the graphics and the animation. You're flying in this fighter over the planet that looks extremely realistic with scenery fading in as you fly towards it. And then all of a sudden you say, gee, I want to do a barrel roll, and all that scenery, that very complex 3D scenery, just flips as you turn around. So the first thing that grabs you is, gee, the realism. 16 million colors instead of like 256 colors on a video game.
NewGenGamers.com.